River State Caucus in the National Assembly has commended President Bola Tinubu for lifting the 6-month suspension of democratic structures in the state. In a joint statement, Senator Barrister Mpigi, Honorable Dum Deko, Honorable Kingsley Chinda, and Honorable Cyril Hart urged Governor Siminalayi Fubara and Speaker Martins Amewule to work with openness, unity, and focus in delivering democratic dividends. The lawmaker said ending the emergency rule was crucial to addressing security concerns and restoring stability in rivers. They appeal to elders, leaders, and residents to support reconciliation efforts and back the governor and assembly in ensuring peace and progress. Reaffirming their loyalty to the state, the caucus pledged to safeguard Rivers' interests at all times. They stressed that stakeholders must avoid divisions and propaganda and instead embrace cooperation to foster development and unity across the state. While I was reading, the line that caught me was suspending democratic process in the state. This from the National Assembly. Would you mind throwing more light on that? Because I don't want to come in for the past where we're having, like I said earlier, dictatorship or authoritarianism. You know, and now it gives the layman the question. Then what do we call democracy?
You know that after the suspension of democratic rule in River State, Mr. President ran to the National Assembly.
Okay.
For approval, and they gave approval. And in the assembly where this approval was given, Honorable Pigi was there, Senator Pigi was there, Dumdeko was there, Chris Chinda was there, Kingsley Chinda was there, and Hart was there as senators.
Okay.
In the reps, we have them. They were all there when this approval, when the eyes had it.
Okay.
Are you getting me? That's why I said that the State Assembly would have consulted through these people. They knew that what happened in River State was an intervention effort by Mr. President. Because if that impeachment had taken place, who knows how Rivers would have been by now. Already Nigeria is struggling with the issue of insecurity in the north, in the east, now west is calm, except just little pockets of mishaps here and there. And now finally, River State is plunged. And you know the way Rivers crisis used to be. Before you know it, oil installations will begin to go on flame. And the economy of the country will be crumbled. Because Nigeria, as it stands today, is depending solely, majorly, let me use the word, majorly on oil. And River State is a major producer of Nigerian oil. And you know when it starts from Rivers, it will cut across to Bayelsa and move to Akwa Ibom and move down to Delta. So how will you handle it? And Mr. President had looked at this. Otherwise, like when he declared that state of emergency, I say no, he was wrong.
Okay.
Because what was happening in Rivers was not up to what was happening in other states in the north, and he has not declared state of emergency. But you know, it is easy for us to criticize leadership until you get there. That's just one. I'm an analyst.
Okay.
I'm also an activist. But sometimes I blame the handlers of the information of some of our leaders for not doing well to communicate properly. When you communicate properly, look at what about Ananuga was saying, yesterday about the policies of the government and all that, and how Mr. President will not have one day left to sit in Aso Rock after May 2031. Look at those things. And when I was responding to it, I said that, yes, it is possible he may stay till 2031 because of what we are seeing happening in 2025 across the political parties.
Okay.
Yeah, it is possible he may win. But however, when it comes to policies, we are not abreast with the policies of this government. And the ones that are dealing with us directly, it's not, they are not sweet at all. The removal of fuel subsidy is biting us so hard. The floating of the naira is biting us so hard, even though some of us might say it is good that you allow naira to compete favorably with other currencies. Instead of trying to manage it. But look at how it's dealing on us. Do you know that to buy a pair of trousers now you have to have up to 30 to 50,000 naira? A pair of trousers. Now, if this is happening, what has the government done to alleviate the level of poverty of the people? You see that you plunge them down, down, down. That Nigerians are now living behind poverty level. And the government is still promising us heaven and paradise. Whereas we are already in hell. So, apart from such, one will say, their media groups are not helping matters. If they communicate us properly, we'll now know where to hang our agitation as an activist. Then when we analyze their issues, we can be able to put things in proper perspective. But when you leave us to make our definitions and explanations and analysis based on our feelings, we definitely will come from the opposite side.
Let me deviate a bit. Recently, El-Rufai made allegations that the current government is having the look of an authoritarianism or a dictatorship. And what's your take on that?
To me, El-Rufai shouldn't be talking.
In context of this reverse state.
El-Rufai shouldn't be talking.
Why?
But the reason we will allow him talk is because he's a Nigerian. Otherwise, his antecedents should have made him to bury his head in silence.
Antecedents?
Yeah. El-Rufai has served as a minister in this country. El-Rufai has served as a governor in this country.
No.
We know his doings. Is it when you are in power, you'll be allowed to do anything you like? And when you come out of power, you begin to criticize those who are doing what you did. Is it not double-faced? Is it not what Bible we read called hypocrisy?
But he was speaking based on the templates we are seeing.
Which template? Which template? See, he is not speaking based on, he is simply trying to get a pound of flesh from this government that did not bring him in.
Really?
And even he was brought in as if the Senate had passed him, you know, he will be praising Ahmed. You remember that El-Rufai was, though Bola Tinubu was not in his lineup. Yeah, it was Ahmed Lawan that was in his lineup
Of
presidency during the primaries. Yeah, we know how everything went. Even Buhari, the so-called, the late Buhari, as they said, because I will always put them on that. I don't want to make statement on national television about that. Was in that lineup. Then, so many people were saying, Buhari is supporting Amaechi, Buhari is supporting Amaechi. That was just a ploy to divide the Southern Bloc. Yes, we have to say the truth sometime.
Okay.
They will come up to refute if they so wish. Until we are called to a table where we begin to dissect these things. So now, finally, when Bola Tinubu won the rest of the contestants, and they now gathered back, we are APC. We will win the presidency. And they won. It was on that basis that he was nominated for ministerial position. But he was not cleared by the National Assembly. Now, he's swearing tooth and nail that they must remove this government because he did not favor you. You are not speaking for the mass, entirety of the masses.
But Mr. Inze, you just heard the House of Assembly commending the president for suspending democratic process.
Yes, because the president saw where the thing was going to land. If that impeachment had happened, remember, it was outright removal of Mr. Governor. And if they impeach the governor and impeach his deputy, Martin Samuel automatically becomes the governor that will conduct the election. And you know what that means. Now, the river Rhines, the savanna you were hearing that time, might not be contained by only Rivers State. They can spread across all their savannas in the south against the few uplanders in River State. And when this thing begins to happen, me and you will be peeping before we enter the road. So to what benefit will it be to us? The governor will be impeached, out of office. Now, Mr. President has seen that, and these National Assembly members, they know what some of us do not know.
Okay.
They meet where some of us cannot come. They discuss matters that cannot be released to some of us. And they have looked at it and seen that the intervention of Mr. President actually saved 9. It saved 9. So coming to commend him now is born out of the information
they must have received.
They were aware of. And they will just say that and leave it at that. Are you getting me? And you could be now, jostling, hitting your leg here and there. Why is it like this? Why this? Shouldn't have been. But they know why what happened. So, and now everybody was apprehensive that after 6 months, this man might extend this thing. Then I commended Nyesom Wike and other stakeholders who played along. You remember that during the Peace Pact, that nobody from the governor's foot soldiers that attended that meeting. Did you remember that? Rather, it was more of people that were loyal to Nyesom Wike. And that needed to be done for peace to come back. But there are people that would have been brought into that meeting and they will scatter it. They will scatter it.
Okay.
So now the people that will say yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, were called and they had a meeting. And after the meeting, the governor came back and said, let the fight stop. I have to accept everything that was discussed. The simplified warriors or army, from now henceforth, ceased to operate. Actually, it was not too good to some of the people who fought in the front line.
Why you say so?
Yeah, it may not. How will it be good that suddenly? And you know that those that were fighting from the simplified were fighting with anger. And I know, to the best of my knowledge, that he who goes to fight with anger always sustain higher injury. You know why? Anger is like madness.
Okay. Tactics is subsided.
Anger intoxicates. And within that period, your thinking will be suspended. Okay. You'll be acting based on instinct. And we are rational beings. And not just mere instinctive animals. You need to sit down and plan your things. And most of the people who were fighting around the governor were like, no, this injustice must not stand. You cannot do this to us. You cannot do this to us. Blah, 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 blah. So if you bring them to the peace table, they might still raise the same agitation. They now took the governor. And at the end of the day, the governor came out and addressed them. Though he used some certain words on the people. Just like when there is war in a community and you bring an army, to occupy that place. Army will definitely arrest the, crossfire by the enemies, the opposing rival groups or community.
Okay.
But do you know that occupation of the army in every community brings harm to that community? But it has stopped war. that they are no longer dying as much as they are dying. But some of the men will lose their wives to these soldiers. If you don't lose your wife completely, you might have a son for a soldier in your house and you won't talk. They can put roadblock anywhere, anytime. They can decide to collect ransom from people. The most beautiful girl in the city that no man can drop, they can rape her and nothing happens. Are you getting me? We need to have this understanding.
Okay.
So if such thing can happen when there is war, I see the declaration of emergency in Rivers State and suspension of democratic rule in Rivers State as invasion of the army to stop a war. And to a large extent, it did. Now that they have gone, my plea to the stakeholders, starting with Mr. Governor, Mr. Minister of FCT, the Speaker, State House of Assembly, my plea to them is that they should, please, remember once again that they are first and foremost Rivers men before becoming anything you have become. And whatever you have become, you will someday cease to be. But you can never cease to be Rivers man. That even in death, your name remains, your grave remains in Rivers State. So that you are a governor, you are a minister, you are a former governor, you are a speaker, you are whatever, is just an office you cling to. And someday, you will leave it. Because nobody has held office for forever. If you don't leave it alive, you leave it in death. But we are not praying that anybody should leave such office in death. You should come out and enjoy the dividend of the office you have occupied, and also watch how others will do it better. Let FCT minister allow the governor use his own mind, except where the governor knows that he's just a beginner in this game. When you don't understand some certain things, consult your predecessor.
Okay.
Because that your predecessor was not your opponent. In fact, he was the one that nominated you to contest. And he supported you to make sure you won. Where you don't understand some certain things that has to do with legislature, consult with Amwehule. You are a son to Esowike. Amwehule is a son to Esowike. So Esowike is like you people's father. You people are just children of one father. That's why when this emergency rule was lifted and the governor had returned back, I told them that the governor has simply returned back to his political family. Yes, this is a family. You guys knew where you started. You guys knew the discussions you had in 2022 and 2023. You guys know how you shared powers among yourselves. And now that God has brought you back together, or either God or Mr. President or whoever, but I know that you have been brought back together. Remove pepper when you are preparing a salve for the eye. So that nobody will apply it and begin to shout.
All right.
And get blind more. And let the interests of Rivers people be paramount. Because whether you are serving as a minister, when your time elapses, you return back to Rivers State. If you decide not to return and flies abroad, your children will remain here. If your children are not here, your uncles, your aunties, your relatives, they are here with us. So if we are calling you a bad name, remember, Nadengo, they receive them.
All right.
The same thing with the governor, the same thing with all the political stakeholders in Rivers State, including the local government chairman that has just been elected.
All right.
Let everyone sheath their sword and toe the path of peace. And if by any means we have a fight, let us all pull our sword and fight the enemies outside, not enemies within. Because the more we fight the enemies within, the more we stall our developmental progress.
Thank you, Mr. Inse, for your opinion.